Can we give Brittany another hand? Applause, please. Thank you, Brittany. Oh, you just got us so composed. We thank you so much for that beautiful music. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to ask you just to take a moment to have a moment of silent prayer within yourselves for the people affected by that Harvey storm in Texas and Louisiana and New Orleans and all that's being affected. Let's just take a moment just to kind of gather ourselves and send prayers of support to them and just wish them well, wish that we can bring them out of the miserable situation that they're in. This is such a tragedy. So if we can just take a moment of our time and just kind of think about it and offer whatever strength we can to them, I ask you to do that. I thank you. It's such a heavy experience. It's a tragedy to watch it, and it takes a lot of energy to just deal with it. So thank you for sending out some positive energy to all those folk who are suffering. We're going to have a good time this evening, but we've got to remember those who are just not enjoying themselves like we're going to enjoy ourselves tonight. Welcome to TaJ. TaJ is TaJ Media Productions and TaJ Talk, an online, virtual, interactive magazine. And you see some of the screening that's going on tonight. That's some of our work. And you're going to see more, and that's just the beginning of what TaJ is all about. I'm John Ruffin, Chief Executive of TaJ, and a native of Chatham County. Thank you. A graduate of Horton High School, with family roots in this community that dates back into the early 1800s. So some people might even want to call me homeboy. It's okay, I can handle it. I left here in 1959, not planning to return, but my family ties and friends kept me coming back. And my philosophy is, if you're coming back, bring something. So tonight, we're here to bring something. And I hope you receive it, because we have tried to bring something to this community that we believe and we know is much needed and that no one else has. So I want to keep your attention for a few minutes and note what TaJ is all about and what it offers for you, for your children, for your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. This is what this is all about, because you're in the midst here in Chatham of some of the most prolific growth ever seen in the state of North Carolina. And we intend to bring positive energy for the local folk, the local businesses here in Chatham County. Well, before I do that, I want to bring forth a piece, if we can show it, a film. Can we show that film? Can we put that film up for everybody to see? This is a film by a young man that you're going to meet shortly. That Dottie, my wife Dottie, please recognize Dottie. Dottie, raise your hand. She's the first lady in my life. And she discovered this gentleman, and he has become a part of our family. And he's doing great works. So you're going to see some of his great works here in a moment. Well, while they're getting that together, I go to plan B. The young man who wrote this film, of which I'm the producer, executive producer, as a matter of fact. He's an award-winning writer, an actor, and motivational speaker. His work in film has been blessed, and he has multiple written top-selling books. He looks and aims to empower readers to have healthy relationships. He's a motivational speaker with talents which have pushed him to perform all across the world, and speaks to TEDx talks. Lastly, MTV. He's been on the Apollo show, ESPN2. He is the writer of this film, Tranquil Inferno, a film about the Black Wall Street. Above all, he's a Christian young man, a devoted husband, and a great writer. So if we can play that now, please.
What the hell are you doing at my house so early in the damn morning, Jesse?
It's them getting sassy with me again.
How so, Jesse?
I go over there to buy some liquor, all right? But I ain't got no money.
Why are you buying liquor if you ain't got no money, Jesse?
That ain't the point, Sheriff. I go over there, I pick up my liquor, and I even tell him I'll pay him back in like a week or something. And this one old smooth mouth, he's gonna stand up and he's gonna say, well, I'd appreciate it if you'd wait. Pay me back for the last two before I even give you credit for one. Isn't that something, Sheriff? Huh?
So? You owe money to just about everybody here because of your liking to drinking, and myself included. What was wrong with what they said?
Wrong? Sheriff, that just ain't the way of things. You're lucky I don't go back up in there and just take it. It's what our daddies used to do back in the good old days. Sheriff, if start talking like this, where's it gonna end?
I think you're blowing this way out of proportion, Jesse. This ain't got nothing to do with them being niggas. It's business. What's right is right.
What if that sassy nigger starts teaching his kids they can just come over here and start demanding respect and payback from the whites? Before you know it, they're gonna start thinking they're our equals. And then one day soon, that little son is gonna grow up, be thinking he can be president. Or even worse, start thinking he can date your little Millie.
You hush your damn mouth now. Don't you start talking silly about a dating my daughter. That ain't ever gonna happen. Not as long as I breathe the breath Jesus gave these lungs.
Sheriff, I just don't like seeing them doing better than we are. I mean, they don't hurt nothing, but seeing them with their own businesses, hospitals, land, it just makes me think that one day they're really gonna figure they're better than us.
See, Sheriff? I ain't the only one. Walt here's a good man, and he can see the writing on the wall. Sheriff, we gotta fix this. Show him who runs this town.
I can say one of the niggers raped me. I mean, that'd get the whole rest of town on our side. Every day I see plenty of them. I work in the elevators. Once I say I've been raped, the whole town will want justice.
Now you wanna lie to show him who's boss. What are we turning to, huh?
Who are you? What are you, Pontius Pilate? You think you're gonna wash your hands and walk away from this? Maybe you turned into some kind of nigger lover.
You see this? This is an ear I got at a picnic when I was a boy. My daddy cut it off a finger and gave it to me. I wear this every day to remind me where I stand. Don't you ever fix your mouth to call me a stinking lover.
Yeah, my daddy was at the same picnic, and this was that nigger's nose. They got their act together that day. Don't just stand there, help me up! Damn! We don't need him. Let's go. Damn! Amen.
Give applause and bring on Devin Robinson, ex-Egypt, from Fort Lauderdale by way of Georgia. Devin Robinson, Egypt.
Well, it was actually a pleasure to even get a chance to write this story because Mr. Ruffin was the one who inspired me to say, hey, you know what, we need to talk about this. I think a lot of times in our history, when it comes down to things that are so touching, that touch us in a place that remind us that we've gone so far, but things like this still happen. We may not want to tell those stories, but Mr. Ruffin wasn't afraid to, and I'm thankful that he even gave me permission to write this story. One thing that we're doing, yes, give him a round of applause, yeah. One thing that's special about this story is that the feature film version, the longer film, is a how-to. It's not a what happened. Because many times it's just about what happened to us, what happened, but never how to. How do we rebuild a Black Wall Street? Where we're sharing money, where we're investing in our communities, where we're helping each other. How do we rebuild that? How to? Because that's what our children need to know. So they can know these things. That's important. But they also need to know, how do I build wealth, mommy? How do I bank black, daddy? How do I do these things? And that's what's important to also tell, and that's what we're going to tell in the feature film version, because of what I believe and what we believe is that hope is a beautiful thing, but hope with direction is power. So when we have hope and then we have direction that tells us how we can help one another, how we can continue to build our community so our children can grow up and they can know, hey, you know what? I can go and get a good job that can pay me just as well as any other place of town. That's change. And that's what we're looking at doing with this film. So if you all want to help and contribute to the feature film version, I'll be back there. I'm willing to talk to any of you guys to help rebuild and actually to help this feature film version come to fruition. We want to make sure that even in small businesses, that if you have a small business, the unique thing about this film is that it's a past film and a present film. It starts off in the present where a teacher talks about the past, and then we go back into the past. So that means if you have a business, we can actually put your business in the film. So if you would like to be one of our contributors, please, I'll be back there willing to talk to you. So I thank you all so much for enjoying this film, and thank you for all being here at this event for TaJ. Thank you.
Dottie discovered Devin 15 years ago, and he's become like a son. He is a son, and we're family, and we support him in his endeavors. I'm so proud of him. He's a good-looking guy, isn't he? Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Well, as I said, I left here in 1959, not planning to return, but you, many of you, lured me back. But you indicated that you didn't want me to come back empty-handed. So this is what we're bringing to you. With the experiences in Baltimore, New York City, New York State, New Jersey, South Florida, and close to 60 years, don't like to tell that, of education, corporate and entrepreneurial business, and lots of community service and fundraising. Don't tell Becky. Don't tell Becky. Well, she knows it. We've worked on some projects. Thank you, Becky, for all you do here in the community. Thank you. Thank you. Becky Laughlin. Well, I've returned to Chatham to launch this online virtual interactive magazine utilizing the internet. We can reach your cell phone. Everybody's got a cell phone, right? Mine's here somewhere. Everybody got one? We can reach your cell phone. We can reach your homes, your businesses, locally, nationally, and we can go globally. We believe that this to be a divinely anointed mission to serve underrepresented communities, underserved people, businesses and organizations in need of effective and efficient communications. Thus we present the TaJ Talk Media Productions. To accomplish our mission, we've engaged some extraordinary people with diverse skills and talents. And as I continue, I'd like for them to come up on the stage so that they can be recognized. Just come on up here and don't be bashful. All the team, just come up here and stand here. I want them to see you. Come on, guys. Hey, tonight. We don't have all the time. Let's go. Come on, Jonathan. Up on the stage. Our mission is to provide a state-of-the-art communications to underserved communities and peoples locally, nationally, and globally in the most effective and cost-effective and efficient way. We focus on the millennials, the underserved, business and economic development, education, health, human and social services, mentoring and internships, news and current events, politics and law enforcement, criminal justice and entertainment. And this is being led by two young men that God brought into my midst over time. The president of our company is Aaron Hall. Where's Aaron? Aaron Hall. And the senior vice president is Terry McMillan. Where's Terry? This is our team. These are our team, and there are many more that are not here. And there's many opportunities for others to join us. But what I've outlined may sound like a lot, but with God's help and the talent of this team, led by Aaron Hall, we believe and are dedicated to fulfill our divine and anointed mission. And now I bring to you the young man whose family roots are here in Chatham County, date back into the late 1800s and early 1900s. So if you will, please welcome our leader, Aaron Hall.
So good evening, how you feel? How you feel? Everybody feel good like they should in the Pittsboro, Chatham County neighborhood? Let me hear somebody say yes. All right. I think I sent out an email that said it's a party, so we did come here to have a party, all right? So after we get done talking, we're going to kick this music up and we're going to dance a bit because we got a long Labor Day weekend coming and we might as well let our hair down because we're amongst family and friends, okay? All right. So I do need to do some recognitions, and I'm going to get through these pretty quickly, but you know, when you can walk into your neighborhood and say, hey, we're having a party and we'd like to raffle off some things, and people just say okay, and they start giving you stuff, well, it's real nice. So tonight, some of the things we're going to raffle, so don't leave. We have sponsorship from my cousin, Clara Johnson, who's not here, but she's clarifications.com. She has paintwork all over the town. She has nice little bowls in Jenny's store next to the Oak Leaf. So she has one of her nice decoupage bowls up front that we'll auction off. We have the mod right behind us. There's 2 pizzas, yours, to auction off that may be coupled with this 580 gift basket from 580 Craft Beer. We'll see how that works out. And then, you know, some of the stuff I didn't want to bring up here. Phoenix Bakery gave me a dozen donuts. It almost didn't make it to that raffle table, but it made it. French Connections gave us a very nice bag that also did not make it, also almost didn't make it, and I thought about perhaps my mother might like it, but I don't know, she may or may not win the raffle. And I will, since I say that, I will recognize my mother tucked in the back, my children's mom, Edna, my children, my niece, because without those folks, I wouldn't even be standing up here talking, all right? We have the Joyful Jewel, who also gave us a nice coupon that I accidentally misplaced, so it did not make the table, so we're gonna keep it honest here. But thankful to them. We have the aromatic coffee roasters, which may go with the dozen donuts that are already there, but our local coffee folks, Dom and Mallory, gave us a pound of coffee, which I think goes well with the donuts. We'll have to see. And then my good friend Edwin White Designs, where's Edwin right here, who's world-class sculptor, who's just one of Chatham County's finest, and his beautiful wife Gwen, and so we're happy to have it. And he gave us, I call it a teardrop mobile, which I may end up winning that myself. So we have a lot of nice gifts, and when you can walk into your backyard and say thank you, it's really good. I'm gonna turn around and say one quick thing very quickly. All of the stuff that you have seen on the screen, well, we have a nice, very intelligent back room of some very bright guys that's led by this man from Siler City, Mr. Adrian DeGraffin Wright. We're gonna let Adrian come up and tell you a bit about how the site puts together and how it works, and then I'll get back on the mic and introduce the rest of our team. Adrian, come on, talk to the people.
How y'all doing tonight? So, when Aaron was talking to me before, he said erudite was the word, and I just nodded and smiled and pretend like I knew what erudite was. But I think it's to speak well, and I'll try to do that fairly quickly. Rather than bore and confuse you with a lot of technical know-how, I'm just going to tell you, well, a little bit how it's put together, and then the spirit behind TaJ, talk.com. Really, the purpose of it is voice. The key word is voice, is providing a voice to underserved communities. People who would never get to speak out, people who would never get to shine in the sun, people who would never get to tell their stories without some sort of platform. And, one of the main focuses of TaJ is to highlight black success in ways that it typically doesn't get highlighted, Everyone knows the name. If I say the name Serena, everyone knows who that is. If I say the name Kobe, everyone knows who that is. If I say the word Barack, everyone knows who that is. But if I say Ralph Frazier, no one knows who that is. But he's important. And the reason why he's important is because he integrated Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill's law school. He was the first black man to graduate from UNC Chapel Hill's law degree program. And if I was never here tonight, and if TaJ never existed, you would never know his name. But he's just as important to you as any of those people are to anyone else. And so that's the whole point of TaJ, is to highlight success in a way that other people don't get to enjoy. They don't get the spotlight. It's to give the spotlight to them. The site is comprised of user-created content. This is your content. These are your articles. These are your stories. These are your voices. This is your artwork here, broadcasted to everyone across North Carolina and across the United States and across the world. We feed from various sources from the black community, because at the end of the day, we're not trying to replace Black Enterprise. We're not trying to replace Ebony. We're not trying to replace, any of those places. What we're doing is trying to centralize all of them. And so we take from all of those sites and we put them in one location, so that at the end of the day, all of those stories and every single person, no matter how high or small, how important, quote unquote, they may be, they all get equal time on TaJtalk.com. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
So I'm gonna go down the line so you can see the rest of our team. We have, starting on my left, IT expert, another from Chatham County roots, Brother Daniel Harris. Give him some love, y'all. Sound man extraordinaire, and we have this Baltimore thing in common. Brother Gio, I want you to give him your love, y'all. irrepressible, doing interviews, always the love, our consultant for all things political, Randy Vola. Why don't you give him some love, y'all? All things video, keeping us right, keeping us tight, keeping us on point. Our partner in the T, which is Terry, the A, which is Aaron, the J, which is John, Mr. Terry McMillan. Why don't you give him some love, y'all? CEO of NC Fair Share, fellow JMU person from Meadville, Virginia, great dad, great leader in Raleigh, brother Akiba Bird, helps with our editing, our video, 360 Tapestry. Won't you give him some love, y'all? We met my good brother Egypt here, and I'm so glad to finally meet you in person. We had a lot of phone calls all times of day and night getting all these things going, so I'm glad you're here. And then my brother, my cousin, I think I call him everything, and the lead offspring of the beautiful John and Dottie Ruffin, Jonathan Ruffin, all right? So I was told don't talk too long because we're taking up some streaming bandwidth, but I do have to say this very quickly, then I'm going to let you go. The one thing John did not say is back in 2007, 8, I was out having dinner with my wife, my child, and my other child, and there were these people sitting there having dinner with their daughter who was graduating from Clark Spelman, and they kept looking over at us, and finally the wife and daughter said, just leave those folks alone, just leave those folks alone. And this man comes over to the table, he says, I'm really sorry to bother you, but I see you there with your family and your sons. I just want to tell you, I'm enjoying watching y'all sitting here. So we start talking, and we realize we have this Baltimore connection. And so we keep talking Baltimore, Baltimore, Baltimore. This is my way to show you that there's nothing that happens by happen chance, that even in this chaotic world, everything has a serendipitous moment. So I say, so where are you really from? And he says, oh, this little place in North Carolina you never heard of called Chatham. I said, like Pittsburgh? We both looked at one another. I think I started calling my mother. He started calling Hermine and some of his folks. And what we realized is that my grandmother was his nurse at Dr. Matisse's right next door when he got his tonsils out. He was my mother's school bus driver when they both went to Horton back in the day. So if you ever would have asked me 10 or 15 years ago if I ever would have come back to Pittsburgh, I would have said, I'll bet you everything that I have that I never will. Well, I met these wonderful folks, John and Dottie, who have mentored and loved so many people, because to whom much is given, much is required, and they have really set the table, set the bar, showed me so much love, and I would be remiss if I did not tell that story. So, as I told John, I said, I'm gonna say a couple things, and then I'm really getting out of here. So, the other night when I was thinking, what would I say here? I said that we are creating conversations that enrich, grow, and guide us to a more fulfilling community experience. Whether these conversations provide comfort, and sometimes they are uncomfortable, but always leading towards remembering. Remembering why we are here, remembering what our job is while we're here, in hopes that we might retribalize and simply live. We have work to do, perhaps as we see our STAR program or our habitats for our own humanity, or as we look and see the abundance in this life and our village making. We recognize, oh, what a privilege that we have in this time, in this place, that we look around at one another, and what a magnificent moment that we are here together. Whatever rose that brought us here, we are here together, finding that which is intrinsic to the peace that sustains us. We look around at the people here in this room here today, sometimes gone tomorrow, sometimes their laughter, sometimes that sorrow, but we renew the hopes in all of our tomorrows. Where's my DJ? Because sometimes there's laughter, sometimes there's sorrow, but we renew the hopes in all of our tomorrows. Because friends like you and you and you and y'all back here too. We are priceless and we are rare. Peace, love, power, every minute, every hour. TaJTalk.com. Discuss, define, deliver. Let's have a party, y'all, all right?